And we are live. Guys, welcome. I'm sorry if I'm a bit hyper today because I just finished this new episode. I am like, not okay. Not okay. Hey everyone. Hi Rodham, how's it going? So what is happening today? In case some of you didn't know, I have the insane honor of talking to Olivia Swann from Legends of Tomorrow, and I'm just very excited. And I think I'm just gonna try and add her on right away. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome. I'm very excited. Who is excited? Come on. This is huge for us, for all of us. Hey, Liv!
Hey,
What is up?
what is going on? It's so good to see you.
You too. Thank you so much for doing this. This is insane to
Of
me.
course. Thank you for asking me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I texted everyone, like all of you guys, and I was like, for sure, no one is gonna answer. And it was so nice that you did, and I'm so
No, of
happy.
course. I mean, I feel like most people are having a life, whereas I don't really have much going on. So I'm like, yeah, I can do anything. I've
That's
also
fair.
I've done my hair like you. I was
Yes!
inspired with
Look at this.
the little top top bun, what you want
I
to call it.
love it. I love
Yeah.
it. And how many rings are you wearing? That's the first question.
I think it's less than 30, which is pretty, that's
Which is
tame for
pretty
me.
tame.
Yeah. I'm actually a bit upset. I should at least be 30. Should
Yeah.
have added one more.
Yeah, come
I don't
on, for
know.
this.
Come on. For this, could have dressed up a little bit.
Yeah. Oh man. How are you doing? It's so nice to see you.
I'm well. Do you know what? I am good. I joked about not having life, which is only half true. But just
Yeah.
kind of like keeping as busy and as creative as I can. And just chilling, like resting and just, kind of enjoying time off, which is not something I usually enjoy, but I'm allowing myself to do that. How about you? How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
good. It's been so fun to have you guys back. I mean, it was good to have a break. Honestly, I was
Mhm.
like, I think you guys deserved a break more than anyone, obviously. You did like 2 seasons back to back.
We
Because,
literally had 6 weeks off before going into seven, which
yeah,
I didn't mind. It was like 6 weeks too long for me, but
right. Fair.
like, yeah, we didn't really have a break.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, I felt like I needed a break.
Yeah, a
But
break
it's
from
so
the
cool to have you
crazy. I
back.
think that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. And you're home now, right?
I am, yeah, I'm in the UK now, which is,
Nice.
super chill.
Yeah,
Cool.
super chill. All right. Okay. Well, the thing is that I just watched the episode now.
And you live to tell the tale. How did you
That's,
find it?
yes, I'm one of the few.
Yeah,
Honestly, I
one
feel
of
like
the
that's
very
why
few.
I'm like this
Yeah.
right now because I don't even know
hmm
what just happened.
hmm
Like, what
Oh,
was that?
same. I mean, I filmed it. I was there. I don't know what happened either. Like, truly. It's one of those ones which are just like, you kind of either read it and you watch it and you're just like, okay, what's going on?
Yes.
What what is happening?
Mm,
And it was very much that throughout the whole process. Kind of just reading it and being like, how is this working? And we're doing what? And it becomes this, and then it's that, and then there were so many scenes. I think usually we have about maybe 60 is like pushing it a lot scene wise, but we had about 80.
mm,
And there was just because there were so many like quick cuts to like
yes.
this person's reaction, da 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 da. And then like so much actually got cut out. There were like even more bits of like a few characters here, a few characters there,
Mm,
which had to get cut because it was just there was so much we crammed in. Um, yeah, it's a mad episode.
yes. It was wonderful. Because I think after last week's episode, I was like, this is the craziest crap that we've ever seen on this show, I thought. But then we saw this episode and I was like,
Little did you know what
oh
was
no.
about to happen.
It was It was so good. What was the hardest scene to get through, like, without laughing? Because there was a lot
Well,
of scenes with like all of you in it.
yeah, definitely the dinner table bit where like everyone's like full reality mode. I think Tao
Yes,
just posted a story.
yes, I just saw that.
Yeah, and just you can just see us bursting into laughter, and it was like that a lot. I mean, when you have
Mm.
Nick doing his Jersey Shore,
Yes,
and then you have Tala doing a housewife, and you have Sarah doing a Katie doing a housewife, it's
yes.
like it's impossible. It's
Mm-hmm.
impossible.
Mm-hmm.
And I just had to sit there being angry.
Yes,
But
true.
obviously, I was listening to what everyone was saying and was just trying so hard. I mean, I had Adam right next to me doing his crying with all of his
Yes,
tissues everywhere.
yes.
Um, yeah, that for sure was impossible. But it
Mm.
was, I mean, so fun, just so
It's
fun.
so so funny. Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm crying now. Did you watch the episode now? Like, do you usually watch the episodes when they come out,
Um,
or do you
I
watch them like
usually
beforehand?
we get sent like the initial like cut version, but
Right.
without all the VFX and stuff. So I like to go. I actually watch it with my parents because they're huge fans. So
You?
after this, I'm gonna go watch the episode with them,
Oh,
and
that's awesome.
they like hearing all of like the behind the scenes and like, oh, this was cut or this happened here or so and so. Like I fell over here, like all that stuff.
Yes.
So that's what I do. So it's nice to see when it all comes together as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's
Mm.
so cool. And it was a great fashion episode for you, especially.
Oh
I was like, the
God.
hell, Astra's back and we're here for it.
How Astra was, yeah, in full force. Those shoes. I mean, I went on a rant about those shoes this morning because I found all of my photos and I was like, these heels they were so painful, man. Like I I'm usually okay, but for some reason these ones were just next level.
Hmm.
Um, like cutting into my ankles and my toes, and to the point is that I can't take them off in between takes
Yes.
because it would just be even more painful putting them on.
Yes.
So
That's the worst part.
I was like, you know what? They're staying on, but I was like crawling across the floor because I just couldn't walk. Amy definitely has a video of me somewhere
Yes.
crawling.
Amy. Did someone say Amy was here? Amy, we need that footage.
Amy, get the video out. I mean, don't because I look ridiculous. I don't know why you're asking for it to
You're
be
like, do
seen.
it. Wait. No.
No.
Oh man, yeah. Well, this was absolutely insane. I think it was one of those because like filming the reaction. I think last episode was one of the hardest so far
Mm.
to film because I was like, I want to pause after each line and be like, what?
That's
And
what
then
I
go
enjoy
back.
because I'm like, I like that you pause because then you could like process
Yes,
and talk about it, and then you go back, and then you go back.
yes,
And it's like I like that. Instead of like talking over it, it's like yes,
yeah,
this requires a minute of
yes.
like,
I want to
let's
appreciate like every
let's
second
delve
of it.
into this for a second. What's
Yeah,
happening? I like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, because I'm like the writers and you guys have worked so hard like to build these scenes, and there's so much stuff that if you don't like follow it like this, you'll miss it. So
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you for for taking the time to even watch and film a reaction is just so wonderful. I like
mm,
putting it together and like I said, I saw your episode 7 one. It's just so joyous and just so really, really lovely to just watch you genuinely loving and appreciating the
yes,
show for what it is. And I think that's so important. And when like so many of the fans like they get it and understand
hmm,
exactly what this madness is.
yes.
So it just makes our jobs even better and more lovely to, to meet people like you, which is just it's so sweet.
I mean that's crazy. To me, I hope you guys know that to me, this is like insanity. That you would have watched them. I was like, what? And that's well, anyways. But yeah, I think it's the best show to react to. I think this one. You know what I mean? Because it's
Yeah.
just insanity.
I mean, there's so much going on, and there's just like there's even more to come. That's the thing. It's like it never lets up. There's always
Mhm.
something happening.
Yeah. And
It's
it
great.
keeps getting better, which is
Oh,
mind blowing every
well, I hope
time.
so. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I have so many questions and things that people sent me that I don't know how on earth am I going to get through all of them, but we're going to try.
We're gonna do it. I have faith in us both.
Yes.
More so
Yes.
you than me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. You're gonna ask one question. I'll be here for the next half an hour.
No, but that's
Answering the same
good.
thing.
I think that's better than like,
I don't know. I feel like I just go off on tangents and repeat myself. So if you hear me say something
I'll
like
just stop you at
twice,
some point and be like, we heard that, move on.
yeah, yeah, be Bruce.
Okay. Okay. So the first question, what's your favorite part of your job?
Oh my God, great.
I thought this was a nice question that I got.
It's a lovely question. Do you know what? I was talking a lot this week about being able to play as an actor, and that is truly, I think, the best part of the job is just playing around, because
Yeah.
essentially that's what we do. Like we dress up and play, and I was thinking how grateful I am to be on a show like Legends, which is just a playground. It's like
Mm-hmm.
aliens and then cowboys and then reality show and then
Yeah.
you're just yourselves but your evil robot version. Great. Like it's and for me, I consider that I'm still learning. I'm honestly still training. I'm still basically very new to this, and I see every episode every day on set as such a fantastic you know learning environment. And I just feel so lucky to be able to just play around with a fantastic group of people who are so lovely and so funny. So yeah, that I think just playing.
Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah, and like you said, this would probably like be the best show to do that on.
Oh my God. Yes.
It's just insanity. Okay. Good. That was good.
Thank you. Was it a good answer? It was concise
That was
enough?
great.
Yeah. Okay, great.
We can move on.
Good stuff.
Okay. These were more like more general questions, which are good ones to start with. James asked, do you have a favorite Astra line? And he said, who died and made you Ava is mine. Which I back that.
Yeah. I love that one. Oh my gosh, she's had so many, I feel.
Because I've seen you do these things and you remember like everything. Not to put pressure on you, but I'm like,
feel if
it's very impressive.
It's more like if someone quotes a line back at me, I can tell you exactly what episode it's from and who said it.
But if I tell you just say something, you're like
in terms of my own lines from the top of my head. The one that popped into my head actually is I'm Astra Log, you idiot, in episode
yes.
What episode? Episode 4, which actually was an ad-lib. Actually wasn't in the script. And then I think something about the way Sage, who played Ross, was kind of asking the certain questions, like, who the hell are you guys? And I'm like, and then it prompted me to be like, well, I'm Astra freaking Log, man. So that was a fun one for me.
I love it that like the amazing lines often are ad-libs. I think that's such a cool thing.
Wonderful ad-libs. I can't remember if Adams from this episode was an ad-lib when he was like, but my bottom. Like, I don't know if I can't remember if that's an ad-lib or not, but it's just such a great.
It might as well be.
Yeah, it could be. But yeah, everyone's really good at ad-libbing. I'm actually quite terrible, and I rarely do it. Nick is.
But then when you do it,
that was one time, and I haven't tried again since.
One time it worked.
I'm gonna just leave it there.
Yeah. We'll take it. We're all like, wow, that was an ad-lib by her. Oh man, I love that. No, that's great. Okay. Then I also asked people about like more specific like scenes or episodes and stuff that they would want to just hear more about. And I thought I would start with the latest one, the one from last week. I mean, with the evil legends.
Yeah.
How was that for you? Because someone was asking this question of like, is it just me or is Astra like literally the same? You know, like this evil robot Astra.
Do you know
she's
what?
Most like our Astra, you know?
Yeah, and this was my thing going into it, because basically one of the notes we got is like the evil robot legends are legends, but like minus compassion, minus empathy, like all of the good things you find in humans, basically.
Yes.
And like Robot Astra is really evil. I was like, cool. Astra's pretty evil.
What has changed?
So that's where I, at least internally, I think script wise, you know, she wasn't out on the field. She wasn't kind of in amongst everything.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how much I got to show of this, but at least internally, I made choices for myself to set her apart from the Astra that we know. For example, when it comes to like torture, I believe she has this really pretty sadistic obsession with torture. So she enjoys not killing people straight away and like toying with her food, basically. And I don't like, again, another tiny little detail, but I with makeup, I had this kind of staining like in the center of my lips and then bringing it out to the corners of my lips. Because I wanted it to appear like she drinks blood, because I think she does. So that was another choice that I made. So I was like, yeah, I think she drinks blood. I think she, like, you know, kind of eats people in that kind of way, like just really kind of deep sadistic stuff. And I wrote this email to Phil and to David, the director, and I was like, this is what I think she does. And I think they were just a bit like, okay.
Are you okay?
I think David said something about, I don't know, burning the email or something like that. It was intense. But just for, like, you know, to get something for myself to make her different to Astra.
Yes.
And also playing her, I was like, oh, our Astra's actually really pretty nice now in comparison.
Yes, true.
So I think that's what I needed, just to kind of differentiate, even though maybe it's on screen, it's not that big of a difference, but I think just for me, I was like, I needed to to figure it out.
I mean, I think there was a difference, and but it's just interesting to hear like what was like going on for you. And the look, like how much does the look help, like in this kind of situation? Because the boots, the hair, it was all happening, and
I was obsessed. I mean, mainly with the hair. So I think we didn't know there would be like robo versions of ourselves or like evil versions of ourselves, but we maybe had an idea about doppelgangers because we were like, well, there's another Wave Rider. So and so I mentioned to Dion, who's the head of the hair department, I was like, if we're evil, long red hair. And this was like toward the end of season 6. So I was like already prepped. I was like, I want long red hair.
Yes.
And then I think I tried on the cat suit first, and they added in like the shoulder pads. And then I think Vicky, the costume designer, she just came in with these thigh-high boots. And I think they were bought from a sex shop. I think that's where they got them from.
Yes, they were.
And I was like, this is the boots. I mean, again, impossible to walk in, but, and I spent most of my time around the Wave Rider, is it the bridge? And then like they have grates on the floor.
Yes, like, I was looking at pictures. I was like,
great.
How is she doing this?
With difficulty, let me tell you. I had to either place the thin heel like directly on one of the grate bits and not move.
Yes.
And then even if I breathed, there'd be takes where I just went, because like my heel just like slips down the side.
Oh my gosh! Everyone's like, again, she fell.
Yeah, but it was like just in the background. It wasn't even on me. You just see me like fall in.
Which is even better.
Which is even better. So yeah, that's, you know, it requires core strength and balance, 2 things which I do not possess.
Well, the end result was so. Okay, another question about this from Roden. Which role do you prefer better when acting, an evil character or a good character?
It's so interesting. I think I do want to say evil because for me personally, it's more of a departure from myself. I like to think I'm quite a nice person.
Yes.
Most of the time. And you know, there's more to delve into when you do things that you just don't usually do as a human.
Yeah.
However, that being said, I'm really enjoying playing Astra right now as she kind of becomes more human and becomes, you know, more vulnerable, and we see sides to her that we didn't before. Um, but there is something very, very fun and exciting about playing a villain. So
Yeah. And it's
got to be
exciting
beautiful.
to watch. And I think the journey is the best part. Like
Yes.
starting from a villain and then going into a more nicer version.
Yeah, I was thinking as well. I was like, if I went back to season 5, like how would I play like Hell Astra, like truly true Hell Astra, not like our Astra pretending to be Hell Astra,
Yeah.
or you know, just jumping back into like actual Hell. I think you
Yeah.
know, I'd probably do stuff differently. I mean, I'd love to do stuff differently.
Mm.
And it's just interesting, kind of looking back and be like, you know, I didn't hate what I did, but there's so much. There could have been so much more. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's a good bridge to another question or another scene or like a thing that someone wanted to hear more about. The first appearance and the first, like when we saw you for the first time on the show, how was that like for you? Like,
Oh
how was it
man,
coming to a show that is very established already and
yeah.
playing this crazy hell lady?
Do you know what I actually had no idea what I was kind of stepping into, which I'm glad about because it took some of the pressure off. But I mean, there was pressure anyway. It was my first screen job out of drama school,
Yeah.
and like I hadn't acted in front of a camera on this scale ever.
Yeah.
So all I see now in that, what is it, four episode like 15 or something.
Yeah.
All I see is this like stiff, terrified, nervous, like little Olivia who's like desperately trying to hold on to an American accent and just not doing anything. And it's so interesting because I'm like it something about it works in a way,
Yeah.
but I'm watching it just like, oh no, it's just so like stiff and wooden. That being said, however, I was treated so kindly, especially by Matt, who was the first person I met, first cast member I worked with. I genuinely owe so much to him and how he made me feel so welcome, feel so safe, so secure, so comfortable.
Yeah, I love that.
And it's wonderful. And you know, I really try and carry that with me. For example, like Lisette joining in season 6 and Amy joining in season 7, I'm really aware of what it feels like to join a cast that's this big. It's a huge cast.
Yes.
And obviously everyone's lovely, but kind of also stepping into that, there's a sense of like, oh my god, there's everyone here. So I was really aware that I wanted to make sure that they had the same feeling that I did, and like the same treatment that I got, which was so kind and like just so unbelievably welcoming. So, you know, I made that a kind of not what's the word priority. I made it a priority of mine to make sure that, you know, I was reaching out to Lisette and reaching out to Amy, which ultimately ended up in just fantastic friendships, and I adore those women so much.
Yeah.
But you know, it's thanks to the wonderful cast that I was already working with that allowed me to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Answer the question.
That's so cool. And it's so cool to see that even for us, even though like obviously we're not there, we don't know what it's like to be on set and stuff, but it's still so obvious that well, especially with you three, like we've seen a lot of stuff from you three, and like how it just looks like you're such good friends, which is so nice. And then that you got like we got so much content with the three of you in the beginning of this season. That was one of the questions as well. This is going very well, you know, like jumping from one question to
I'm
another.
thrilled.
Just like
I'm thrilled. We're doing the thing.
yes, it's happening.
Yeah. Now I said it, it's gonna go downhill. But
yeah, no. Can we talk more about the Astra Spooner Gideon dynamic situation?
yay,
It was just, it's been so nice to watch.
Esperastrion.
That's it.
I have so much love, so much time for those two women. They are the kindest, most chill, most fun, a pair of women that I could ever hope to meet and work with. And having those like first few episodes was just so great and so easy and just such a laugh. We just hang out between takes, and it was just effortless. I mean, there's kind of no other way to describe it. It's like nothing. We didn't have to work for anything. We were just there being our characters, and the sense of like, you know, obviously Lisette and I had worked together in season 6, and having Amy join as human Gideon was also like having Amy join the show and then joining into like mine and Lisette's pairing and like into our friendship. So it was all like happening organically. The kind of work life parallel was already there, and it was already kind of like following itself like throughout the show and throughout the episodes. So it was just great, you know, just, you know, getting to know them, like Lisette even more, and really getting to know Amy. It just helps. It really helps. Like you said, it just really helps the on-screen dynamic. And like I always have this sense of like protecting them both because I'm so fond of them. So that really helped kind of Astra's initial development of like, I'm not this thing's mother, what are you talking about? To then being, you know, enjoying their company and kind of, you know, having this sense of protection over Gideon. And obviously her friendship with Spooner is, you know, just so tight and so loyal and so wonderful. And so reflective of real life too, which is just great. So there's very little acting involved when it comes to like trying to be
we're just hanging out and they're filming.
We're literally just hanging out.
I love that. There was a great question. It's kind of a question. It is a question from Rachel. I'll just read this out and then you can say whatever you want. Like, it kind of goes with this, like with the thing with Gideon, for example. So Astra had so much mom trauma in season 5, but she's really taken to caring for Gideon in season 7. What are your thoughts on Astra's changing feelings about family, and maybe not literal mothering, but that protective, supportive, caring dynamic she has with some of the other legends now as well?
Oof. Okay, get ready. How long we got? Okay.
Here we go. Rachel, you ready for this? It's happening.
I think this season especially is just so good for her in the sense that she's finally accepting that this bunch of idiots are her family.
Yes.
And whether initially she was rejecting it or whatever, but there's no, like, she can't deny anymore that this misfit group is her home, they're her family, they're her friends, and they are all she has. And I think coming from somewhere where you build relationships, like in Hell, for example, so coming from Hell, where she built relationships that were just so toxic and so dangerous and so built on, you know, using and mistrust and manipulation, that I think in season 6 it was more about her being reluctant to allow herself to get close to people, because of what she's used to and because of her growing up in the worst place imaginable for a child literally to grow up. Literal hell. So what I adore is the fact that without even having to kind of address it in the script necessarily, it's just kind of flowing out of her this protection of these people who have taught her kind of how to care, who have taught her what it means to be friends, who have taught her what it means to be a family, because they accepted her regardless of the fact that she wanted to kill them or that she wanted to like ruin John's life.
Yes.
Which I think is so important, and you know, has really established the Astra that, you know, we see up until this episode. There's a point where my brain just goes,
no, all of this is great. That was amazing. Yeah, no, but that's so true, because it's like she has come such a long way, and it's funny how she still feels like the same character, but she's so different to the Astra that we met in the beginning. And I think that says a lot about the writing and like what you've done with her. And it's been so cool to see it happen and then like in a way go back, like last episode for example, they go back to like, oh okay, here we go again. And then it's
And
so
I
much
think
fun to watch because it's
it is,
like
and it was fun to do. It's so fun to do.
yes,
And I think it's about choices and the fact that she now has the choice to like not harm the legends. She
yes,
has and when faced with the choice, she chooses not to, as opposed
yes,
to choosing to. And that stems from her acceptance of them being her family and her home, which I
yes,
love. So I love the fact that she can choose to be good now, as
yes,
opposed to being evil.
yes. We love it. We love to see it. It's it's so cool. Okay, that was a great answer and a great question. So where are we going from here? Can we talk about the 100th a little bit?
Of course, yes, let's.
How was it to? I don't know. I literally just have written the 100th here. I'm like, I don't really have any specific question. How was it to watch? Like what you said. Like now I'm thinking about this question. You talked about how you felt really protective over like Liz and Amy when they both joined. Then to see Amy do an episode like that, for example, how was that? And to be there the whole time, pretty much, like.
I adored it. I was in awe of her. She absolutely smashed out of the park. And Lisette and I were like cheering her on every step of the way because why not? Because she's amazing. And it was really fun. And it was just so, it's such an honor to kind of be with all of the previous legends as well. Terrifying, for sure.
Yes.
I was like, hi.
You're like, hi. I'm the girl from hell. How's it going?
I don't know who I am, but I'm a big fan. It was exactly what it was like. But you know, it was like a big family reunion with like a strange family that you've never met.
Yes.
Yes. Basically, just be like, hi, I'm your second cousin twice removed. You've never met me before ever, but I exist.
Yeah.
But it was just cool seeing everyone, you know, take in the space again and kind of settle back into, you know, remembering what their time was there. And because the show's changed so much since the first few seasons, and it's nice. It was really interesting seeing the different kind of generations of seasons and show kind of come together. But it was really fun, and Katie, you know, directed it and smashed it because it was huge. And I think everyone was there just being like, this is the 100th. This is it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So everyone kind of had their A games, game phases on, whatever the phrase is. They had their faces on.
A game faces.
And yeah, Amy truly smashed it because again, she's been on the show for however long, since the beginning, and
since the dawn of time.
Since the dawn of time. And you know, it was just so wonderful to see her have this limelight and completely own it and completely smash it. And I was thrilled to witness it.
Yes. Same. I mean, just to watch it on our screens, I was like, this is, when I heard that it's going to be all about her, I was like, this is the best idea. One of the best ideas that they showed.
Honestly, I read the script and was like, I read the script and instantly emailed. I think I messaged Phil and I was like, this is dope. This is so cool.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yes.
Just the fact I got to be there in the scenes. We're just like watching from the side.
Yeah.
Like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a cool episode.
Yeah.
Then what about the first like big episode with Lizeth? Is it 614?
614, yeah. Is it? With her mom.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah.
Oh,
how was that? It was one of my favorites because Maisie directed that one, right?
Maisie directed it, yeah. And I mean, it was just one of the so well written for a start. Such beautiful scenes.
Yes.
I mean, props to Alex who played Gloria.
She was wonderful.
Just God, you couldn't have asked for someone better. It was just beautiful. And Lisette, it was honestly just so fantastic watching her work. Especially in that scene where she tells Gloria, she's like, "I'm your daughter," and Astra's kind of like watching from the bedroom and then comes in to join them. In that scene, I was in streams of tears. just
Yes.
I wasn't meant to be crying. I think that
Astra
even
doesn't care this
they had
much.
to edit out like any cuts of me crying were gone because it wasn't meant to happen. But
Oh
I
man.
was just impressed because it invoked something so real and
Mm,
so truthful, and she's begging her mom to see her and to realize it's her, to save her life, the one
mm,
thing that she doesn't have and she's missed her whole entire life. And Lissette's performance was just heartbreaking, gut-wrenching, and I got
yeah,
to witness it firsthand, and let me tell you, it's like it was even more so on screen. Like, it was
I believe.
crazy.
Mm,
It's such a wonderful episode, and
mm,
I'm so glad I got to be a big part of that as well.
yeah, yeah. And that one ends with John's death,
It
right?
does, yeah.
That was a
Yeah.
great scene. How was that scene for you guys? Or
That
for
scene,
you?
it was a little surreal,
Mm,
actually. Kind of everything that I experienced and knew with Legends was kind of ending in that moment.
yeah.
Um, so it was like, when it kind of like silence just descends on kind of something. That's kind of how I remember it. I remember it as a very kind of quiet time, even though I don't think it was.
Mm,
Um, but it was just so lovely sharing even like the smallest moment with Matt just for one last time, and he
yeah.
put so much into that role, and he is Constantine. So
Yes.
I was just so honored to be able to kind of end it with him,
Mm,
um, and you kind of be there with him,
mm,
because he was, like I said, the first person I met on set
yeah.
and the first person I had all my scenes with. So it felt lovely that I was able to kind of share in his last scene.
Yeah.
But it was great, he brought his all, and there was a train in the background for most of it, but we worked through.
There was some bloopers that we've seen.
That blooper was one of the best things I've ever seen. His timing was or the train's timing was impeccable. One of the
Yes.
two.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It was like we were able to, like, he was able to inject his wonderful humor into it, even though it was, like his character's last scene. But
Mm,
and that's the wonderful thing about Legends. It's like it's this mix of humor and zany and crazy, but has just so much heart at the center.
yeah. And it blows my mind every time because I'm like, I don't understand how this works, but it works so
Yeah.
well. Like, just like you said, like mixing everything, like everything, literally everything. Okay, okay. Just going through everything. Some, uh, okay, this is kind of changing the subject. So when you read the scripts, are the scripts usually as crazy as the end result? Like, do you read the script and already go like, what? And then when you see it, you're like, oh yeah, well, this is what we read. Or is it like you read it, you're like, I don't understand, and then you see it and you're like, oh, like this is craziness.
I think usually you can kind of get a sense of it, and you can kind of gauge where it's
Yeah.
going to be. I think 9 was definitely the one where I was like, I don't know what's happening. And then we were filming it. I was like, I don't know what's happening still. But then seeing it, I was like, okay, now I
Yeah.
get it. Now it
Yes.
makes sense.
Yeah.
And maybe 11, which is Jess's episode.
Mm.
That one, reading it was like, oh yeah, this is pretty mad. There's a lot going on here. But I mean, it's great. She
Mm.
smashed it.
Yes.
But usually, you kind of do have a sense, and then either figure it out whilst we're filming and be like, okay, I get how this is meant to happen.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you would just like, oh, you watch it, you're like, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I'm like, I can't even imagine what this show would be like on paper.
It's very mad. It's mad. All of it's
Yeah.
mad.
Yeah. I love that. All right. What about, can we talk about B and Astra?
Yeah, it's about being extra. What do you got?
Especially after this episode. I don't even know. I just wrote B and Astra. No, I'm kidding.
Okay,
uh,
well, give me your thoughts, and then I
no,
will.
but I wanted to ask, like, when was the first time that you guys thought that, oh, is this a thing? Because I've been trying to think, like, when was the first time that we went, like, oh, okay. because that has happened so many times, because now I feel like everyone is
Yeah.
paired up on the show.
I
And
think
there's always a moment when we hear a line and we're like, wait, is this happening? Are we shipping this now, or what are we doing? So
I mean, I think for us as actors, it was 5:14, I think, after the whole Downton Abbey bit,
yes,
and they're like engaged
yes,
when B's like, oh yeah, that was like crazy. We were like married, and I was
yeah,
like, whatever I say, it's like, oh, it's like you're not brainwashed anymore.
yeah,
Like that bit in the script was kind of like it was like a thing. There was like a
yeah,
moment where Astra was meant to. It's like she kind of senses what's going on, but she doesn't feel like she can be that woman. Like that's not her thing. Like she doesn't kind of connect with people like that.
mm.
So in the script, I was like, oh, I was like, is this a thing? I think I asked the writer on set.
Yes.
I was like, what's happening here?
Yeah.
But it's kind of something that's really underplayed. Um, but then I mean, what about for you? When was the first time that you were watching it? Were like, oh,
I mean, I think in that episode, like in the TV episode, which is, I think, the best, one of the best, if not the best episodes of this show.
no, it's great. It's a good episode.
It's insanity. But in that one, when it was like, oh, and we're engaged and whatever, and then there was a little bit like flirting going on, I was like, okay. But then because nothing happened, like, or it didn't, because it's been such a slow burn, which has been,
Shy and I joke all the time. We're like, this is like Jane Austen level of kind of
yes.
like, it's like it looks and it's a smile.
Yeah,
That is it. And
yeah,
really, this is a slow burn.
yeah, yeah. But even though it's been a slow burn, and there's been moments, I feel like there's been so many moments when nothing has been happening, that then in episode 7, yeah, when there's like an actual moment, it's still, well, you saw it. It's still, I was like, oh, it's happening. It still was
Yeah.
like surprising, even though we kind of shouldn't have been, I guess.
I think, do you know what? I'm kind of coming around to the slow burn. Initially, I was just like, are we doing this? Is it still happening?
Yeah.
Initially, I was a bit like that, but then I was like, do you know what? Actually, I think it gives them both such a good space to like be their own individual characters.
Yes.
And as we see in 9, like B has this wonderful moment of like maturity and growth when he even decides he was like, I wanted to, kiss you for ages, but I want to figure myself out first. And I'm like,
yeah,
this is a wonderful choice.
so good.
And we've seen from the beginning of this season Astra really develop and like step into her own as well.
Yes.
And it's like it's like they're just so neatly cooked-ish, and they're like, then they can kind of start their journey together, whatever ends up happening. But
yeah,
I think it's really important for them to both be their own solid people first.
yes,
Which is why I think it's taken this long, because we
yes,
didn't really know who B was or who Astra was really.
Yeah.
And it's not until this season that we're kind of seeing this come through.
That's so true. Because I think both of them came onto the show in a pretty random way.
Yes, yeah,
So
that's very true.
I think both of those characters for us were like, oh, okay, so they're part of the team now? Okay, at first, and then you like grow into like loving them
Yeah.
so much. And now it's like, I think the slow burn makes perfect sense, because it's like, now we can take it, and now we can be like, okay, this is so nice to see. And I think what happened in this episode, specifically, was so nice. So I don't know, I loved it.
Yeah, I'm glad. And I think, yeah, I'm kind of the slow burn now, I think.
Yes.
I'm like, yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Fair. A lot of people were asking about Astra and Spooner as well. And I thought I would just ask, was it ever a thing for you guys to be like, wait, is this a thing? Is this more than a friendship? Or was it just the fans just going like, we want this? And you're just being like, oh, no, there's this other thing going on.
I don't ever kind of think being aware like as we were filming, either of us looking at each other being like, are we gonna get together?
Yeah.
I think maybe we crossed our minds and we were like, is this gonna be a thing?
Yeah.
But then I think, at the beginning of Seven, the writers made the decision that it's like, it's this really, it's fierce female friendship, which, I also love. And I think we don't see much of that on screen.
Yeah.
We don't really see a true like bond between two women and two women of color as well, which I think is so important, and which is why I love it so much, and that it's able to be almost like reflective of mine and Lisette's relationship too, which is just so precious, and it's just so wonderful. So I don't think it was ever going to be a thing. I don't know, but again, but then also like I'm not going to turn around and tell people to not ship them, because it's nice that people can look at these characters and see some kind of representation for themselves, or like this, you can see that we obviously have chemistry together, and it's lovely that people want to see that become something. But also Esperanza is a dope name.
Yes. Yeah, no, but it was, I loved it in episode 7 when it was like finally like set. It was like, no, we are friends, and we are such good friends, and like you say, it's like so rare to see on screen, and I just love the relationship of those two.
I love it too. It's really special, and like it's a special place in my heart, because it's almost like sisters as well. There's that element of like, we can kind of bicker and whatever, but like I still freaking love you, which is wonderful.
Or when they go like, I hate you and I hate you too.
I thought that was just such a genius moment. It was just it encapsulated so much.
Yes.
Oh, it's perfect. I love that.
So good. I love it. Well, can we talk about episode 7 then?
7, yeah.
A little bit. It was amazing. And you had a big part in it again, which was awesome. Because I'm trying to think, like, if these big, like, Astra episodes, 605 was, like, the first one, right? Which was also amazingness. But these, I just love these kinds of episodes where it's, like, kind of heavily on one character, in a way. I don't know if it was, but it felt like that, at least, in 7. So how was that like for you? What was your favorite thing about, because you were posting about it like beforehand and stuff?
Yeah, I did. And I think the storyline in itself was very important for me to tell the story of the Black Rosies, of these Black women in this time of World War II. And it's a story that I didn't know anything about myself. So I was researching it. I was like, oh my God, all these women that I knew nothing about, that I wasn't taught about in school. Yeah. Again, yet another thing that gets looked over in regards to Black history, which sucks. Yeah. So that for me, I was like, this is important for me, and I'm gonna, approach it with this level of importance, because that's what it deserves to have, this story. But I was looking forward to it. I was excited, and I thought it was just such a wonderful premise, and to have Astra rallying this entire factory, but also messing up, which I love, is when she screws up because of her anger, because of her instant reactions, but then actually like learning from it and deciding to be like a legend about it and actually make it right. Was great. Getting to work with Kim Lee. Kim Lee, who played oh my God, what's her name? Gladys.
She was wonderful.
We are so lucky on this show, because the guest stars that they cast are always fantastic. And always really lovely, fun people. Which is great. I got to work with Kim Lee and have just beautiful things. Oh my God, she's so wonderful. I can't even tell you the chats we had. We hung out as well in between, filming, and she's just such a passionate, grounded, inspirational woman. I can't speak highly enough about her. She's wonderful.
Yeah.
So even that, and then we had Glenn who was directing it with these incredible like shots coming in, like all this. I don't know. You mentioned it in your
I was freaking out while you
but like
saw it.
right, like you can see it when like someone has this vision and like
Yeah.
you know it everything feels smooth and like cinematic almost, and you're like,
Yes.
oh, this is a TV show, but it has this element of like cinema and
Yes.
grandeur, and
It was so
so that was
good.
great. I got to see the lovely scene with Shy, which is wonderful.
Mm,
There were just so many bits to it that were great,
mm,
and I enjoyed it. It was it had its tough moments just purely because of the storyline and the weight that they had for me, but
yeah.
I'm just thrilled that it came together into a really, really wonderful episode that I'm very, very proud of.
Yeah. You should be. I feel like I'm proud of it. This is a thing. I think I've said this a few times before. How this show does it. I don't know how this show does it, but you guys do it in a way where we feel like we're part of it.
Yeah,
It's like
that's great.
like in a way I'm like I'm proud of this show. Like we didn't do anything, but in a way it feels like
No, but
we.
I genuinely think that the people who watch and the fans that love the show are
Mm,
what makes it. Like it it just shows us that what we're doing is working and what we're doing
yes.
is important in some tiny way to someone. It's like that's all we need. So it is a we thing. It
Yeah.
is us. It is we
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. But it's so cool how it comes across as well. Or like
Yeah.
that I feel like a lot of people feel like that they're like involved
I
somehow.
hope so. I hope
um okay. I think Liz was saying hi as well.
so. Wait.
I'm like missing all the comments because
Oh,
there's
I
so
can't
many,
see
but
anything either.
I could see her saying hi. um all right. Trying to think, where are we going next? Who We're like almost out of time. That's fine.
Does it
Um
cut up after an hour, or like what happens?
I don't think it does. No, it doesn't, because I was doing one with like some of the fans like last week after last week's episode, and we went on for a
Oh,
while.
sweet. Let's keep going. Let's just keep going. I'm good.
Let's just keep going.
Let's do it.
um, who do you want to see more stuff? Like, who do you want Astra to interact with more in season 8? Fingers crossed. Was this question?
Boy, come on now.
Yeah.
Who am I going to interact with more? You know what? I miss Lisette, man. I don't know if you've noticed, but like the last few episodes, I'm like, where's my spoon? Where's she
Yeah.
at? Where's she at? So I'd love to have more scenes with her.
Mm.
I think I said this before. I'd love to have more scenes with Ava for sure. I
Yes.
think I think there's stuff that Astra can learn from the captains,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe more so from Ava, just because Ava's slightly less combative. Like obviously Sarah's this assassin, and she has this whole side to her that is like similar to Astra in a certain type of way. But I think there's a figure in Ava that could really teach Astra kind of how to lead and how to lead with poise and knowledge, and just kind of teach her a bit about what it is to mature in a way. Do you know what I mean? She
Yeah.
has this kind of maturity that Astra doesn't have yet.
True.
And I think it'd be really interesting seeing their dynamic unfold.
Mm. Yeah, we haven't seen enough of that. We've seen a little bit. Like I love those scenes when they paired like you guys up and then Spooner and Sarah.
But like it was Ava specifically being very Astra and like attacking a tree with an axe.
Exactly. Which made it funny, but you're right. Like it would be awesome to see like what they would do with.
Yeah, because I'm like who's Astra's mother figure? Because if
true.
Astra is Gideon's mother figure, then I'm just I'm kind of looking to who Astra could look to for that kind of thing. Or maybe it's she doesn't want one because she's so used to losing her mother figures. Maybe I don't know, but that could be an interesting thing to explore.
Yes, yeah, that's true. Yeah, we want more of that. That sounds good. Um, do you have a favorite or favorite pieces of acting by a co-star? We've talked about some of them, but like
Some other ones.
yeah, if something comes to mind where you've like either been in the scene with them or watch it afterwards and be like,
oh God,
I like
definitely
these kinds of questions where you can just like say nice things about other people behind their
say
back.
nice things to everyone.
Yeah.
Definitely Matt as Crowley in 605.
Yes.
Playing with him was fantastic. It was so fun. And I actually love what Katie does in episode 10, the next one coming up in Maisie's. It's a very, very strong episode for her, and I thought what she did was fantastic.
That's great.
Actually, there's quite a lot of bits in 10 that I was like, oh, these are good scenes.
I can't wait.
So, that's good. But anything else I can think of? Obviously, Amy and 3, we've talked about that.
Yeah.
Oh, but then of course, Shy in this episode, in episode 9.
Yes.
Just so don't be sleeping on Shy.
Yeah.
Like, it's like it's so good to watch. It's just so wonderful, and this is such a chill, grounded quality to him, which is just wonderful to see. So definitely Shy.
Yeah, he was so good in this episode. I don't want to say I'm surprised, but you know, like, because we haven't seen this side of him, so I was just like, I love that we get to see this. Like, he did such a great job.
Yeah, I think that's right. When we see a character kind of almost 180 in what we're used to seeing them doing, you can't be surprised, you can't be shocked, but it's not like we didn't think Shy could do it.
Yeah.
It's just a sense of like, we didn't know Bearheart could do
what?
It, which is the surprise. But yeah, no, that was really cool to see.
Yeah, I love that. What about style? I've heard you talk about some of these a little bit. Like, do you have a favorite hairstyle or style otherwise that you've worn or that we've seen already on the show? I've heard you talk about the Western, which was just...
I love the Western. I love the sorceress in 613. Yes. My favorite outfit by a freaking mile. But you know, I do have a soft spot for all of the hell looks, but my feet do not. My feet hate them. Yes. But also, I mean, like in the kind of episodes like coming up ish, there's just like I've kind of brought Astra back to basics in terms of like, I just wanted her to be comfortable / me to be comfortable.
Fair.
And what she wears is something that I would wear myself, so it feels nice kind of existing in that world of like, oh, I kind of feel a bit like me, which is nice. But I would like to, season 8. I'd love to develop her style, like into a way that's really her own and distinctively her own. That's not hell and not just like, you know, jeans and the top, which I love. But I'd really love to play around with it some more.
Do you get a say in that? Like, what is that process like? Like,
so we if it's just like a normal civvy look, we go in and there's just like loads of choices of like tops, jeans, skirts, trousers, whatever.
Yeah.
And we try stuff on and obviously like pick what we like. Ultimately, it's like, if you feel comfortable in this, how comfortable do I feel? Am I going to get sweaty in it? Am I going to be cold?
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. And then ultimately we get to essentially choose it, but obviously it has to go through the director and they have to approve it first. But when it comes to like period looks, most of those things get made or altered. So there's kind of little leeway in terms of
they don't really ask your opinion.
So you kind of turn up and you try it on and that's about it. But usually, but the period looks are just always exquisite. So there's never any issue at all.
Yeah. Yeah, like what would your feedback be?
Exactly. It's like, quite fitting to the time period. Like I would know.
Yeah.
No, yeah, true. Great.
Oh, that's so true. Okay. 605, we kind of mentioned it a little bit, but I would just love to hear what was it like, because it was your first big, like, your episode. and there was a lot going on there for Astra, and then with all of the animation stuff and like all this madness, how was it like stepping into that, and with Katie directing it, like did that?
I'm thrilled Katie was directing. That really helped. She just created such a fun atmosphere, a really chill atmosphere. I didn't feel any pressure to, be amazing or whatever. It was very cool, very chill.
Yeah.
I was so excited to do that episode because I'd spent 3 episodes not in them. So I was like going mental. I was like, get me back on set, please.
True.
So I was more than prepped and ready. I had I was making notes. I had this whole book going on. I was ready. So like the filming of all that stuff was great. It was so much fun. I loved it. I really loved it. The animation side of it was more of a stress, in the sense that I never expressed to the writers that I liked singing or could sing
yes.
ever. And then obviously in 514 we had that sad feeling song.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, it's like 2 lines, but
what?
Okay. So then after that I was like, okay, I've done my bit of singing. I managed to get through it.
Yeah.
Maybe I cried, but I'll see you later. And then cut to episode 5, and it's like, have a solo, and sound like a Disney princess. Go on. So I was stressed. Obviously, I was so excited that I got to be an animated princess. Like that is truly a dream of mine. That was fulfilled. It was the singing that really stressed me. Like the voice acting stuff was great. It's so much fun. It was the singing that freaked me out a little bit, but I got through it.
Yes.
I just looking like hindsight's obviously a wonderful thing, and I'd go back and breathe and calm down and just enjoy it. So if I have to sing again at some point, then I'll do all of those things.
Yes.
But it's something that I am proud of it now. Like watching it back, and like I don't hate that it exists. I was a bit stressed that it was on the soundtrack, which was...
You're a recording artist now.
Apparently I am, which makes no sense to me whatsoever.
But the fact that there is an album, I'm like, this show, like what is this show?
There's an album now. But it was really good fun, and I'm very, very lucky to have been able to do it and to be a part of it. So it has a lovely place in my heart as well. So many episodes do, but that one especially. Yes,
exactly. I think it was when we heard for the first time that there's going to be animation in an episode. I was like, I don't understand. How is this, like, what have we not done yet? This is the thing we haven't done yet, and here we are doing it, and it's working so well.
Like, I had to keep that a secret from my parents for so long, and it was so hard because they released the trailer, and then one of the first things you see is this whole animated sequence. I was like, what are you doing? And so I messaged my parents, like, don't watch the trailer. Just don't watch it. Don't watch it. And they didn't. So then when obviously we were watching it, and they loved it. They we finished the episode. They're like, okay, we want to watch that bit again. It was so good. So like, it was sweet seeing their reaction.
Because it was so short. And we were waiting, because I don't know what I thought beforehand, that the whole episode was going to be animated. I don't know. But like, because we were waiting for so long, because it's like towards the end of the episode.
I mean, I think we should have a whole animated episode, I say.
Just saying. What is the work like how, like when you do the voiceovers and stuff, like how does that happen? Do you do it beforehand or afterwards, or?
Yeah, so that happened in October of 2020, and then the episode aired in like June 2021 or something. But because they had to animate they had to have our voices to animate over. So Matt and I were in the recording, and all the other legends, when they were candlesticks and all the things that they were. We were all in the recording studio in October, so like how many months in advance, like putting the voices down, putting the songs down, and and it's just because it just happened. And like I think I was given maybe like a week to prep or something of the songs, and then they're like, "Hey, you're in the recording studio," and I was like, "Yo,
To where?
this is
What
intense."
now?
Like for real, the actual thing. But Casey got me and Matt together to kind of rehearse the whole animated bit just
Nice.
with each other, so we kind of weren't going in completely blind and completely like it was just we were just doing it on the fly.
Yeah.
So that was really good. So there was like a bit of prep, and I was able to get my head around it, but it
Yeah.
was a very quick turnaround.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. What about we're jumping an episode again. And also, like, whenever you need to go, you can just tell me to stop. The bowling episode, Jess's episode, like the bowling scenes, it was a great, like, granny style bowling moment with you. Like, what was it like filming that episode? Because that was also an insane one.
Sadly, we weren't actually allowed to bowl when we were there, really, because of like I think it was all COVID regulations or something. But like I was like looking to bowl in between scenes, practice my game. We couldn't, which was a shame.
Jess is like, yeah, no, thanks.
But yeah, we couldn't. And I think we actually had a professional bowler come in and actually like do the shots where we had to get strikes or whatnot. But strikes had to happen.
Right.
Not all the time though. Like so I think maybe we need to get a strike when she did her like crazy thing. Maybe.
One of the best things.
Yeah, so good. But that was such a fun episode too. Like there's so many fun episodes because it's a bowling alley in space.
Yeah, like what?
What?
And then in the same episode, we have Zari and Nate with the finger sky, all of that.
With a huge freaking gun. I don't even imagine.
Yeah, I love it how it's just like every episode. It's like, wait, what?
Every episode.
But it works every time. All right. I'm trying to think if there's any last ones. Well, there was a lot of questions about season 8, obviously, but I would assume that you don't know anything, or even if you did, you can't really say anything.
Really, I don't know anything. I just feel like we're all going to find out whatever at the same time.
Yeah.
I know nothing. I honestly don't. I am hoping with all of you that we get renewed. I'd love that. I truly love to do another one. So yeah.
How was it like ending a season not knowing if you're going to come back? Like, is it nice to have a break because you did 2 seasons back to back, or is it kind of like, so bye, or I don't know?
I'm a workaholic, so I'm like, you know what? A week off, cool, back in. Like, I would have happily done like another 6 weeks and then gone straight back in. Right. It is a little weird, ending and then kind of not knowing, but I guess that's kind of what it technically would be in the without a pandemic or whatever.
Yes.
It's a bit odd. I mean, I don't know, we're kind of remaining hopeful, I suppose, but you never know. So it's just kind of trying to plod on without really thinking about it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's what I've been saying to everyone. I was like, you know what? We don't know anything, so I'm just not going to think about it.
Yeah. Just enjoy the last few episodes, soak that up.
Yes,
and
exactly.
Then we'll see.
Exactly. All right. Well, do you have anything that you can tease us from the upcoming episode or episodes or anything? I don't know if you can actually say anything, but if you do, you can. Now's the time to do it.
I don't know. No one has schooled me on what not to say, so I'm not done. But just that it doesn't get any less crazy.
That's all we needed.
That's all I can say.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, this was great.
This is so fun.
Oh man. That's amazing. You're amazing. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. Thank you for asking me. Honestly, this is a wonderful hour spent, like, actually meeting you finally.
Yes.
And chatting. It's just so wonderful. And like, I could talk about Legends all day because I truly do love it. And I feel very lucky to be part of it. And sharing it with you and, people who watch it is just so wonderful. So
people who care.
People who care.
People care about this show.
So
People
yeah,
who
it's
care, they
lovely.
really care.
It's lovely. It really is.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I don't know. Thanks everyone for sending questions and being here and hanging out. And
Yay.
um,
Thank you, everyone. I haven't been able to, I don't know what I'm doing. So I haven't been able to like see comments and stuff, but
yeah,
um thank you so much everybody for joining.
yes,
Yay.
yeah. People have been very excited about this.
Okay.
Anyways, well, I can't wait to see the rest of this, the rest of this season, and hopefully more to come. And yeah, thanks again for doing this.
Yeah, of course. My pleasure. And I can't wait to see more of your reactions.
Oh, they're
Oh, I
coming.
can't wait for the one for 9. I'm ready for that. Where's that?
I'm, it's coming. I just filmed it before this, and it's yeah.
I can't wait. I'm ready. As soon as it
Yes,
goes on YouTube, play.
yes.
Boom. I'm
Come
ready.
on. Awesome.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much,
Liv.
Pia. Have a good evening.
You too.
I'll see you soon.
Yes.
Bye. Bye. Okay. Watch
Bye.
me not get out of here. Okay.
Watch you click the X in the corner.
And then, bye.
That's it. Oh my gosh. Guys, that was it. Well, I was trying to get through all the questions. Thanks everyone for being here. And the reaction is coming up. I'm gonna start editing it right now, and we're gonna do our weekly live, which we've only done once before, but I think we're doing Sunday. I'll post about that after this. We'll do Sunday to whoever wants to come to hang out and share your thoughts. We did this last week as well. If you want to see that, it's on my feed. But thanks for being here, and I don't know, I'm just gonna go and like lay down now. This is amazing. All right, I will see you guys later. Bye.